They thought their marriage was unbreakable. Wrestling fans around the world looked at Jimmy USO and Naomi as the perfect power couple, the Bloodline's loyal soldier and the former women's champion who supported each other through every challenge the industry could throw at them. But explosive court documents filed just hours ago reveal that their 8-year marriage has been destroyed by something so shocking, so devastating, so fundamentally evil that it will make you question everything you thought you knew about loyalty, family, and the dark secrets that WWE has been hiding behind their corporate facade. What Jimmy discovered about his wife's involvement in Roman Reigns' near-death experience will tear your heart out and make you realize that sometimes the people closest to us are capable of the most unthinkable betrayals. The legal filing that has sent shockwaves through the wrestling world was submitted at 3:47 a.m. this morning in Orange County Family Court, where Jimmy USO officially filed for emergency divorce and requested immediate restraining orders against the woman he had loved and trusted for nearly a decade. But this wasn't a simple case of irreconcilable differences or the typical celebrity marriage breakdown. The 247-page document reveals a conspiracy so twisted that it reads like a thriller novel rather than a divorce petition. Jimmy discovered evidence that Naomi was part of the corporate conspiracy to eliminate Roman, a source close to the legal proceedings revealed. Not just aware of the plot, not just complicit in the planning, but actively involved in the execution of what was essentially an assassination attempt against her own husband's cousin. The revelation that Naomi had been working against the Bloodline family while pretending to be their loyal supporter represents a level of betrayal that transcends typical family drama and enters the realm of genuine evil masked by 8 years of seemingly perfect marriage. The evidence Jimmy uncovered is devastating, the source continued with obvious emotion. Text messages, email communications, financial records, all proving that Naomi had been feeding information to WWE executives about Roman's vulnerabilities, his schedule, his personal habits, everything they needed to plan his elimination. But Naomi's betrayal of the Bloodline family went far deeper than simply providing intelligence to corporate conspirators. According to the court documents, she had been actively working to undermine Jimmy's loyalty to Roman, attempting to drive a wedge between the cousins that would make the Bloodline easier to destroy from within. Naomi had been poisoning Jimmy's relationship with Roman for years, another source revealed. Subtle manipulation, planted doubts, manufactured conflicts, all designed to weaken the Bloodline's unity and make them vulnerable to external attack. The systematic psychological warfare that Naomi had been conducting against her own husband revealed a level of calculated manipulation that suggested professional training in corporate espionage techniques rather than simple marital discord. She was reporting Jimmy's private conversations to WWE executives, the legal filing reveals in devastating detail. Every time Jimmy expressed concerns about WWE's treatment of the Bloodline, every moment when he questioned corporate decisions, every instance where he showed loyalty to family over company, Naomi was documenting it all and providing intelligence reports to his enemies. But perhaps the most sickening aspect of Naomi's betrayal was her role in the medical manipulation that had been used to weaken Roman before his near-fatal encounter in Paris. Naomi had access to Roman's supplement routine through Jimmy, the court documents allege, with supporting evidence. She was in a position to introduce foreign substances, to recommend changes that would compromise his physical condition, to sabotage his preparation without anyone suspecting her involvement. The possibility that Naomi had been slowly poisoning Roman through manipulation of his training regimen adds a medical dimension to her betrayal that elevates it from corporate espionage to potential attempted murder. Roman trusted Jimmy completely, and by extension, he trusted Naomi, a family source explained with obvious pain. She was invited to family gatherings, included in private conversations, treated as a beloved sister-in-law while she was systematically gathering intelligence to destroy the family that had welcomed her. But the court filings reveal that Naomi's corporate connections went far beyond simple information sharing to include financial arrangements that had made her elimination of the Bloodline a profitable enterprise. Naomi received monthly payments from WWE executives, the legal documents allege, with supporting bank records. 5-figure monthly bonuses for intelligence reports, 6-figure performance bonuses for successful manipulation campaigns, and a promised 7-figure payout if she could completely destroy the Bloodline's unity. The systematic financial incentives that had corrupted Naomi's marriage and family relationships revealed how WWE's corporate conspiracy had been willing to purchase the destruction of wrestling's most prominent family through the corruption of one key insider. She was literally being paid to destroy her own marriage, Jimmy's legal representative stated in a press conference. WWE executives understood that the Bloodline's strength came from family loyalty, so they bought the loyalty of someone who could attack that strength from within. But perhaps the most devastating evidence in Jimmy's filing concerns Naomi's role in providing the specific intelligence that enabled Roman's near-fatal assault in Paris. Naomi provided detailed information about Roman's physical condition, his injury vulnerabilities, his pain tolerance levels, the court documents reveal with clinical precision. She had observed him during family gatherings, noted his limitations, and provided a complete physical assessment to the people planning his elimination. The systematic documentation of Roman's physical vulnerabilities by someone he trusted as family reveals how thoroughly Naomi had infiltrated the bloodlines in her circle for the specific purpose of enabling their destruction. Roman's trust in family members gave Naomi access to information that no outsider could have obtained, a medical expert noted after reviewing the court filings. His openness about his physical condition, his honest discussions of pain and limitation, his natural tendency to seek family support, all of it was weaponized against him by someone he considered a sister. But Naomi's betrayal wasn't limited to Roman. She had also been systematically undermining Jimmy's own career and financial security while maintaining the facade of a supportive wife. Naomi was sabotaging Jimmy's contract negotiations, the legal documents reveal with supporting evidence, providing WWE with information about his negotiating positions, his financial needs, his career priorities, everything they needed to minimize his compensation and maximize their leverage. The corporate espionage that Naomi had been conducting against her own husband revealed a level of calculated betrayal that extended far beyond the bloodline conspiracy to include the systematic financial exploitation of the man she had promised to love and support. Jimmy thought he was sharing his career concerns with his wife, a source close to the family explained. Instead, he was providing intelligence reports to WWE executives who were using that information to limit his opportunities and reduce his earnings. But perhaps the most psychologically devastating aspect of Naomi's betrayal was her manipulation of Jimmy's perception of reality, making him doubt his own instincts and loyalty to family in service of her corporate masters. Naomi would validate Jimmy's concerns about WWE's treatment of the bloodline, the court documents detail with supporting evidence, then privately report those concerns to executives as evidence of his disloyalty and attitude problems. The systematic gaslighting that Naomi had employed against Jimmy revealed professional-level psychological manipulation designed to isolate him from his family while maintaining her access to their secrets. She was playing both sides perfectly, a psychological expert observed after reviewing the evidence, supporting Jimmy emotionally to maintain his trust while destroying him professionally to serve her corporate employers. But Jimmy's discovery of his wife's betrayal had been triggered by evidence that went beyond simple corporate espionage to include planning for physical elimination that could have resulted in his own death. Jimmy found communications discussing his potential elimination, the legal filing reveals in perhaps its most shocking allegation. Naomi had been participating in conversations about whether Jimmy needed to be removed along with Roman to completely eliminate the bloodline threat. The casual discussion of Jimmy's potential murder by his own wife represents a level of betrayal that transcends any possible explanation or justification, revealing someone who had moved beyond simple corporate loyalty into genuine evil. They were debating whether killing Jimmy would be necessary or whether his psychological destruction would be sufficient. The court documents continue with clinical detachment. Naomi advocated for psychological destruction, arguing that a broken Jimmy would be more valuable than a dead one. But the most horrifying revelation in Jimmy's filing concerns Naomi's discussions with WWE executives about the potential for eliminating other bloodline family members, including innocent relatives who had never been involved in wrestling business. Naomi provided intelligence about Roman's children, the legal documents allege with supporting evidence. School schedules, security arrangements, family routines, everything that would be needed to threaten or harm innocent family members. The targeting of Roman's innocent children through intelligence provided by someone they trusted as family represents a level of evil that defies comprehension and suggests that Naomi's corruption had extended far beyond corporate loyalty into genuine sociopathic behavior. Roman's kids called her Aunt Naomi, a family member revealed with obvious heartbreak. They loved her, trusted her, shared their innocent secrets with her, never knowing that she was documenting their vulnerabilities for people who might want to hurt them. But Jimmy's legal team had uncovered evidence that Naomi's betrayal extended beyond just the bloodline to include systematic intelligence gathering on other WWE performers who might threaten corporate interests. Naomi was running a comprehensive spy network, the court filing alleges with supporting documentation, using her position as a respected performer to gather intelligence on colleagues, their contract negotiations, their personal vulnerabilities, their family situations. The scope of Naomi's espionage activities revealed someone who had transformed from wrestling performer into professional corporate spy, using her colleagues' trust and friendship as weapons against their own interests. Every wrestler who considered Naomi a friend needs to understand that their private conversations were being reported to WWE executives, Jimmy's legal representative warned in his press conference. Their personal information, their family details, their financial situations, all of it was being documented and potentially used against them. But perhaps the most damaging evidence against Naomi concerns her role in manipulating other wrestlers' relationships, using her reputation as a happily married woman to infiltrate couples and gather intelligence that could be used for corporate manipulation. Naomi would befriend wrestlers' wives and girlfriends, the legal documents detail with systematic precision. Using her status as Jimmy's wife to gain their trust, than extracting information about their relationships, their financial situations, their personal vulnerabilities. The systematic exploitation of other wrestling families' trust revealed someone who had weaponized the natural bonds between wrestling spouses to serve corporate interests rather than supporting the wrestling community she appeared to champion. Wrestling wives trusted Naomi because she was Jimmy Uso's wife, a source within the wrestling community explained. They shared their deepest concerns, their relationship problems, their financial worries, never knowing that everything was being reported to WWE executives who could use that information to manipulate their husbands' careers. But Jimmy's most devastating discovery concerned Naomi's role in the systematic elimination of female wrestlers who might threaten her own positioning or the broader corporate agenda. Naomi was involved in ending careers, the court filing alleges, with supporting evidence. Using her intelligence network to identify threats, then coordinating with WWE executives to eliminate those threats through manufactured injuries, character assassination, or systematic booking designed to destroy credibility. The use of Naomi's position within the women's division to eliminate competitors revealed someone who had been operating as a corporate assassin while maintaining the facade of being a supportive colleague and friend. Several mysterious career setbacks in the women's division can be traced back to Naomi's intelligence reports. The legal documents continue with specific examples. Wrestlers who suddenly lost pushes, suffered convenient injuries, or found themselves written off television after being identified as threats to corporate interests. But perhaps the most personally devastating aspect of Jimmy's discoveries was the evidence that Naomi had been preparing for the eventual dissolution of their marriage as part of her long-term strategy to serve corporate interests. Naomi had been systematically hiding assets, the court filing reveals, with supporting financial records, moving money to offshore accounts, transferring property ownership, building financial independence in preparation for abandoning Jimmy once her corporate mission was complete. The premeditated financial preparation for their marriage's destruction revealed someone who had viewed their relationship as a temporary assignment rather than a genuine partnership, making every moment of their 8 years together feel like an elaborate deception. Jimmy thought he was building a life with someone who loved him, a source close to the family noted with obvious emotion. Instead, he was unknowingly funding his own surveillance and manipulation by someone who was planning to abandon him once she had extracted everything useful from their relationship. But Jimmy's legal filing also revealed the moment when he finally discovered the full scope of his wife's betrayal, a revelation so shocking that it required immediate action to protect both himself and his remaining family members. Jimmy found the communications planning Roman's elimination. The court documents detail the pivotal discovery. Text messages discussing timing, methods, cover-up strategies, everything needed to understand that his wife wasn't just reporting on his family, but actively planning their destruction. The discovery that had triggered Jimmy's emergency divorce filing represented more than just marital betrayal. It was the realization that he had been unknowingly living with someone who was planning the potential murder of his beloved cousin. Reading those messages destroyed Jimmy's ability to continue the marriage, a source close to the legal proceedings explained. Seeing his wife discuss Roman's elimination like a business transaction, seeing her advocate for violence against someone Jimmy loved like a brother, it was the end of everything he thought he knew about the woman he married. But perhaps the most tragic aspect of Jimmy's situation was his realization that many of the problems within the Bloodline family could be traced back to Naomi's systematic manipulation and intelligence operations. Arguments between Jimmy and Roman, tensions within the family, moments when trust was questioned. Jimmy now realizes that many of those incidents were manufactured by Naomi to serve her corporate masters. The legal filing details with heartbreaking precision. The systematic destruction of family relationships through manufactured conflict revealed how thoroughly Naomi had been manipulating the Bloodline's dynamics to serve WWE's corporate interests rather than supporting the family she had married into. Jimmy is devastated not just by the betrayal, but by the realization of how much damage Naomi caused to relationships he cherished. A family counselor involved in the case noted, "Years of family harmony destroyed by someone who was systematically undermining trust and loyalty for money." But Jimmy's legal team had also uncovered evidence suggesting that Naomi's betrayal might extend beyond WWE to include relationships with other wrestling companies and corporate interests. Naomi had been in communication with AEW executives, the court filing alleges, with supporting evidence, providing intelligence about potential WWE defections, contract negotiations, and strategic planning that could benefit AEW's competitive positioning. The multi-promotional nature of Naomi's espionage activities revealed someone who had been operating as a professional intelligence asset rather than simply a corrupted WWE performer, suggesting connections to corporate interests that extended throughout the wrestling industry. Naomi was playing multiple sides, a legal expert observed after reviewing the evidence. WWE, AEW, corporate sponsors, media outlets, anyone willing to pay for intelligence about wrestling's inner workings had access to information through her network. But as Jimmy's explosive divorce filing becomes public knowledge and the wrestling world processes the magnitude of Naomi's betrayal, the broader implications for the Bloodline family and WWE's corporate structure are still being understood. This revelation changes everything, a wrestling industry analyst noted. Every relationship within the bloodline, every corporate decision that seemed to favor certain performers, every mysterious career setback, all of it needs to be re-evaluated in light of what we now know about Naomi's activities. The systematic re-examination of wrestling history through the lens of Naomi's corporate espionage promises to reveal additional victims, expose more corporate